Morning. Welcome back to another episode of TOGL. Well, the time is 7:15. 10 minutes ago it was still pitch black. We're into the really short days now as we approach the shortest day of the year, which is in a couple of weeks' time. The sun is only hasn't actually even popped its head over the horizon yet, so the sky's getting light, but we still don't even have the sun up. So I've got a lot of work to get done today, so I wanted to be up here nice and early. So as you can see behind me, just over here, what I've done is I went and hired a trench digger. What I need to do is get a trench dug from where the biogas bladder will be down the hill to where the mulch pit will be. Now, I could have dug the trench using the backhoe on the back of the tractor, but that is a very slow process, and I know that from experience. And because I am really under a lot of time pressure at the moment, it was better to just spend. It cost me $170 to hire it for 24 hours, and I will get the work done in 1/10 of the time. What I'm also going to do while I've got it is continue on my trench down along the fence line, keep the water off the road, because now that we're getting a lot more rain, I need to make sure that that water isn't going to flow down, erode the road, make the road as boggy as it was last year. So whilst I've got it, I'll do that as well. In order of priority, what I need to get done is get the trenches done, because obviously I need to return that this afternoon. I've only got it for the one 24-hour period. I picked it up yesterday arvo. As soon as I got those trenches dug, the next thing I need to do is get the stirrups cemented in for the framework that's going to hold the solar panels. Now you can see over on this side I've got my trailer and it's got bedding sand. That's the third thing I need to do. I've got the water tank being delivered in a couple of days time, so I'll use that bedding sand to get a very nice flat pad for that water tank to go on. You saw an episode or two episodes ago that I was cutting out those pads. They're fairly level, a little bit wonky, so I'll just get that sand in, get it nice and level. Half the sand will do for the water tank, the other half will do to finish off the pad where the biogas bladder will go. So I've got a lot that I need to get done, and then I still need to mill a lot more timber yet too. That'll be our fourth priority. So obviously I won't get through all of that today or even tomorrow, but priorities to start are get the trenching done, get the stirrups cemented in, and then start to get that pad ready for the tank. So that'll be what I'll be tackling over the next few days, however long that takes me. So let's get stuck into it, and I'll start by getting this off and we'll start getting some trenching done. Well, I tell you what, I was only out of the car a couple of minutes and that chill just went right through me when I first hopped out. I was like, oh yeah, it's quite pleasant up here at the moment because there's no wind, but it's still pretty cold. So rugged up, earplugs in, and let's get this done. Well, it's now 8:15, so it's taken me an hour to get that trench dug down there, but I've got to admit, I reckon half of that time was probably me just trying to work out the machine and the best way to, I've never used one before, so just working out the best combination to go forward or reverse and go uphill or downhill. So I did work going in reverse. Downhill seemed to work the best. And that's why I'm puffing a bit, because I've just walked it all the way back up again. It does self-drive, but on a slope, wet grass, it was difficult, and you do need a lot of strength for it as well, because when it's digging, it still wants to keep jumping up, so you're kind of holding up the back, especially when I'm not on a flat surface and it's downhill. It kind of kept wanting to tip, so not that it would tip over or anything, but yeah, so a lot of strength to hold it into position and that. So yeah, interesting. But still, basically, now that I know what I'm doing, it was about 30 minutes to get that trench down there. And it is a fair way down to the back, down to the bottom fence. So not bad. Now what I'll do is I'll take it over. I'll do a little bit down the road that I need to get done. And then I will pack it up. I'll go and grab the pipe and I'll run the pipe through. Because I want to get the pipe into that trench and get the dirt pushed back in before, you know, the animals kick it in or the water washes it in or anything like that, and then I've just wasted my time. So I'll get the pipe in and covered up, then I'll get on to getting the cement mixer flashed up and we'll start cementing in these footings. Well, that's all of the trenching done. My mate Mitch, who's been on the video a few times before, popped up for a little while. Just come up to say hi and gave me a bit of a hand, which was really nice. Didn't get any of that on film because it's going hell for leather trying to get that trench dug. So I was on the trenching machine trenching, and Mitch had the shovel. He was clearing a lot of that dirt away for me. We took the trenching machine back down to where we hired it from via the car wash and got all the mud and that washed off it as well. So it's been a pretty big day already today, but that's done, returned, all the trenching done. This piece of trenching, great, I needed that done. The piece along the road, so happy that's done because I've wanted to get that done for a long time. One more thing I want to try and get done this afternoon before the light fades, and that is I need to cement these stirrups in. So I've got 6 of these, and these are for the solar panel array, the rack that will hold the solar panels. So I do have 6 holes dug behind me. You would have seen them in earlier episodes, and I'm actually going to put them into the cement at about probably that depth. Now it means that they'll all be different heights as they go down the hill, but that's okay because in each one of these there will be a tall post, and then I will just cut all the posts off at the right height. So it doesn't matter that as I go down the hill, you know, like when we did the house and they all had to be the same level, here they don't. So 6 holes, I need to flash up the mixer, get a batch of cement done, but before I do that, I've got to run out some string lines. I need to make sure these are in the exact position they need to be. So I need to get some pegs in the ground, run out string lines. As soon as that's done, then I can get the mix and concrete. Okay, I now have marked on the crosses where those stirrups need to go. It's where the strings cross, and no, they're not exactly in the center of the hole, but it's really hard to mark the holes and get them drilled to an exact pinpoint on the ground, which is why we do it this way. So now I've got the exact marks and I will be able to get it done. Now the sun is just on the horizon out there, so best I get cracking. I want to get this cement mixed and poured before it gets dark. So I just realised I forgot to bring an extension cord up with me from down at the shed. I need an extension cord to go between the Jenny and the cement mixer. So I jumped in the car to race down there. Yeah, kookaburras are laughing at me, you will too. Because when I drove down there, I realised the fuel light's flashing. I was so preoccupied when I went to drop the digger off and come back, I'd forgotten to get fuel. I need to go and get some fuel in the car before all the service stations are shut. So I'm not going to get to concrete, I've got to go right now. Oh well, I'll have to concrete in the morning. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get some fuel, head home, have some dinner, get a good night's sleep. First thing tomorrow morning, we will start mixing concrete and we'll get these poured. And then I'll be down the timber mill, milling up some more timbers, because obviously won't be putting any timbers in because the concrete's going to need time to dry. Yeah, so that's the plan for tomorrow. Concrete and then timber milling. Right now, off to get some fuel and hope that I make it there. Well, I made it to the petrol station in time. I didn't run out of fuel, thankfully. Got home, had a lovely venison casserole that I'd had on the slow cooker all day, so lovely hearty meal and a good night's sleep. I was back up here again early this morning. Time now is about 8:15. I've been up here since about 7. I've already mixed 2 batches of cement and I've got 3 of the 6 stirrups cemented in already. So yeah, cracking straight into it today. We've got another beautiful day, so I should be able to get a lot done. I realised yesterday afternoon I forgot I was going to put the irrigation pipe in yesterday, as I said, so that the dirt didn't get kicked in. I didn't get around to that, ran out of time, but that'll definitely be on the cards for getting that pipe put in today as well. So lots to do. Best I crack on and get on with it. I might add as well, she's a pretty cold start to the morning. There's frost around, all the tools had ice on them. So yeah, pretty chilly. And joy, back on the cement mixer again. This cement mixer has paid for itself already, and it's still going to get a lot more use yet. So I'll get this fired up, get the next batch of mud done. Well, I definitely am not cold now after all that shoveling. All 6 are in. That's great. I'm just about to pull the strings away, and then I'll continue to check each one of these stirrups over the next couple of hours, make sure that they're not moving. If they move slightly, I'll be able to just touch them back. Now, what I've got down here is a 2-way spirit level. And this is fantastic because it means that you can sit it on a flat surface, and I can make sure that it's level this way and level this way. And so you can see that maybe it's just off a little bit, so I probably just need to touch that just a little bit that way. There we go. And so I'll continue to check all of these. In the meantime though, I need to wash up, and then we'll start putting pipe in. It's just gone 9:30. Stirrups are in, everything's washed up, so we're making really good time this morning. Now it's time to get all this pipe laid into this trench here. Well, that wasn't fun. That was 11.5 minutes it took. Felt like an hour wrestling with that pipe. It was my fault. We have used that pipe a few times before, and I didn't bother to roll it up properly, and it was full of water. It made it incredibly heavy. That pipe holds its form really well, especially when it's cold. Temperature wise, it's still a cold morning at the moment, so I was wrestling with it the whole way down, covered in mud because it's picking up all of the dew off the grass. I kinked it, which is never a good thing. I need to try and get that back out of it, so I've dragged the kinked part up into the sun so that hopefully it'll warm up a bit. I can mould it back into shape, and one length flicked over the trench, and as I pulled it back, focusing on getting the coils out, it's dragged a lot of dirt back into the trench, so I need to just go and scrape that out as well. So yeah, I certainly made hard work of that. But we were running a little bit too well this morning, so something had to happen. Anyway, I'm going to give that 10 minutes in the sun to warm up a little bit, become a bit more pliable. I'll go around and check the stirrups again, make sure none of them have moved, and then I'll start getting this pipe work into that trench. Well, it is a stunning day today. It's so nice up here at the moment. And would you listen to that? Just pure silence. Wonderful. Anyway, it's hard to get motivated to work. So that pipe, I've got probably 4/5 of it buried in, up to where there's that kink, and the kink just doesn't want to come out. So I think I'll play it safe. And tomorrow I'll go down to the ag co-op down at Yola, and I'll buy a joiner, and I'll actually cut that pipe there and cut that little piece that's kinked out and put a joiner in there just to make the pipe flow better. The last thing I want is things, blocking up in that. Not that anything, any solids should go through there, but let's just make it fine. So now the next task that I want to do is get this pad nice and level. This is where the tank's going to go. Now what I've done is I've put a few posts in on the corners, and then I've got one of these little spirit levels, just a tiny little spirit level that you can hang on a string. And then with that, what I've done is marking from that corner, I've come across to each post, marked where it's level. by moving the string up or down and watching the spirit level bubble. I can get that level. So I've marked that post and that post and that post. They're all marked. So now I've got something to work towards as I start to fill this in with sand, get it leveled, and then I'll roll it nice and hard. And once I've got this done, then I'll go over and I'll do the one for the bladder as well. What I've done is crisscross some strings so that I've got a fairly close idea of where the low points and the high points were. So I've got that sand in there. Now I'm going to use this roller that I picked up the other day. I'm going to roll that down. Obviously that's going to compact the sand down a bit more, but it'll give it a nice firm base. Then I can top up with a bit more sand, start to rake it out. I'll use the actual drag bar with the spirit level and we'll get it nice and flat. This will be the first step. Well, it is doing the job. It just, I didn't realise I wasn't going to be able to push it. When you push it, you're pushing into the sand builds up. When you're dragging, you can kind of lift up a bit. So it's not looking too bad. Now I can just put a bit more in, roll it, bit more in, roll it, fill up any of these little spots, and we should get this pretty damn level. The water tank will be up here in about 48 hours. So yeah, and we're not expecting any rain between now and then, which is great. So, but I have used pretty much the entire half a metre of sand there. So when I come up again, when I have to come up and meet the guys with the tank, I'll bring another half metre of sand to do the biogas pad. Well, I'm pretty damn happy with that. I've rolled that several times, filled in the little dips, rolled it, and then I got this big green leveler bar, and I used this and just made sure I took off any high points and low points as well. Put the spirit level on it just to get it all really level. I think for what I need, that should be fine. Now what I will do though is I will go and get a tarp to cover it over with, and I'm going to put a little fence around it too, because I don't want the wallabies hopping all over it. Like I said, it's 48 hours before the water tank gets here, so I'll get that sorted out so that it doesn't get damaged, and then we'll head down to the mill and we'll start doing some cutting, some timber cutting. So I'll see you down at the mill. Okay, time to do some milling. Still a couple of hours left for today, so we'll get some of this done. Now, these bits over here, that's what I was finishing off a few weeks ago. I got those slabs cut to 100mm thick, and I want to make 100mm posts, 100 by 100. So I've brought the tractor around over there to lift that slab, because that slab is bloody heavy. So what I need to do is stand the slab up into the mill, and then I can just take off the posts. One of them's got a bit of a crack, but thankfully it's cracked right through the middle, which means I should be able to still get a post top and bottom. So I will get the blade put on, and we'll get started. Okay, first slab's up, in place, ready to go. I actually just stood that one up by hand because it was a slightly smaller one. I will need the tractor to get those other big ones up on there though. Like I said, they're bloody heavy. It is Blackwood, so I will be wearing a mask again, and hearing protection. So let's flash her up and see how we go. There's our first 10 by 10 or 100 by 100 being beautiful and straight, didn't even twist or warp at all. Very happy with that. afternoon actually. Got a dozen posts milled up. Some of that will be for the solar panel array, some of it will be for the little laundry utilities room as well. Just I had some extra bits at the right length that I could cut in for that. So I've done all of that, cleared off the slabs that I had. The next time I'm up here, I'll have to go find another log. I need a longer log actually. I need one up around the 4.2 meter mark. That stuff that I was just cutting was 3.2 meters. But as you can tell, it's starting to get a little dark now. I've got just enough time to clean up and then I'll head back home. That's going to be it for this episode as well. So I'd like to thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. As you can see, there's a lot happening at the moment and we are rapidly moving towards being able to live up here. The little house coming and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, I'm working my butt off to make sure that we get that done as fast as possible. So, I hope you have a great weekend, great week next week. Stay safe, take care, and I'll see you guys next Friday. Till then, cheers.